Hello darling, welcome back. We are in the middle of what I'm calling secondhand summer. I am a big secondhand purchaser of things. If I need to acquire something, I 100% start with secondhand stores, sites, asking people that I know. I always start with, hey, this thing probably already exists somewhere. I do not need to buy it new. Now, lots of reasons for this. Some of them are simply and I know you know this, as a society, we've got too much stuff. As a people, we've got too much stuff. This world, there is too much stuff on it. And a few years ago, I really started thinking of any new items that I bought as future trash. Future things that are just going to be added to the big pile and to the big flotilla of junk in the sea. And I didn't want to keep contributing to that. Now, I am not a hardcore, no buy, keep your garbage in a mason jar type. I'm realistic, I'm practical. Some things you just need to buy. But for the most part, if I can find it secondhand, not only am I gonna, but I'm gonna have fun doing it. So some of the things that I am always looking for, vintage or secondhand, is clothing, books, decorative items for the house. What's a little different right now is I am going through a home reno, so I do need some sort of practical, non-decorative things, architectural, I guess, like lighting, that sort of thing. So this week, I thought I would bring you along as, again, we continue on our secondhand summer, and I'm going to take you thrift shopping with me, antiquing with me, poking into the little places where I like to acquire my best, most favorite things. Also, I'm a big believer that crafting not only doesn't have to, but shouldn't really include new stuff. For me, anyway. For me, this is personal. Not only are there places where you can acquire secondhand craft items, but there are places where you can go use them. So come with me for a full week of digging for treasures, seeing what is already out there in the world, and giving it a new life.
For our first stop, we're actually heading out of the city. A friend of ours was getting married, and so we were heading up past Napa to a little town called Glendale, not only for the wedding, but to do a little bit of antiquing. So let's go. I didn't realize until I was editing this footage how many of these antique miniature sewing machines that this place had, and I didn't get one, and clearly I have a thing for them. I've recorded so many, so I think that might have to be added to my list of things that may be adorning my new sewing room soon. little chilly in my place today. So we're going to head out. We're going to have a little San Francisco day because I cannot sit in there and attempt to work with jackhammering and lack of water and light. So I thought we would go out and, maybe do a little thrifting, check out the building resources because I do need some things for this reno, maybe pop into the Asian market. Not quite sure yet, but let's go have a little day in the city. First stop, building resources out in the Bayview. It's my favorite place to look for anything you might need secondhand for your home. These aren't my vibe, but oh man, are they cute. I'm very much in the market for lighting. I am building one bathroom and redoing another, and some other lighting in the house needs to be updated. So I am constantly here looking for period appropriate lighting that goes with my home, which was built in 1956. And as you can see, they've got a bunch. Seeing this tub almost did me in. This is called a princess tub, and I had been looking for one for months until I finally decided to redesign my bathroom because I couldn't find one. That was shockingly productive. I found all the lighting I need for the bathroom. I found some doorknobs. I found a shade that I don't really need, but I really wanted, and it goes in my home. I am so excited. It's one of those places where you find what you find. It is a building resources thrift store for all intents and purposes. People donate and you buy what's available. And you have to go a lot. And I am so happy with what I found. I'm so excited. So it turns out there's a Goodwill that kind of just opened. Never been here before, so we are going to pop in, see if that is helpful. Looking again for some decor for the new bathroom space and some other little bits and bobs. Let's see. I think it's clear. I need to treat myself to a little vintage sewing machine. Less successful, but was still able to get a laundry basket, which I weirdly really needed, and I got a gift for a friend, so that was exciting. I'm not gonna tell you what it is in case you're watching, but yeah, so I'm glad I found a new one. I think it's got good potential. There was tons of families in there, so yeah, that was kind of a nice little unplanned stop. Next, I think I need to go to the Japanese market. I think that's what we're up to. Okay, I lied. So there is a thrift store on the way to the market, and I pulled on it. I did get a few things, nothing that I really needed, just a few things that I wanted. And again, I'm just kind of killing time today, so it's weird to have this free time and no agenda. It is about lunchtime, so I'm thinking I'm going to go find some lunch. I'm not sure if I am going to make it to the Japanese market, but where I'm thinking I'm going to have lunch, there is a Korean market that's nice. So unsure what's next. I think a little lunch. Now I know Daiso is not secondhand, but if you don't love to look at all of the fun Japanese little stationery and craft supplies they have. I don't know. There might be something wrong with you. But I also was here for a very specific reason. I am on the hunt for the ever elusive coconut Pocky because it's my wife's favorite and can't find it anywhere. So for this trip, my wife and I piled in the car and headed on over to the East Bay to Urban Ore, which is a thrift store that has everything. They have reclaimed furniture, architectural details, as well as kind of plumbing supplies, light bulbs, clothes, books, shoes, toys, literally everything. But their specialty is weird furniture. Was a super fun day. I decided to grab my mom, go to brunch, and just hit all of the thrift stores that we could in this little suburban town that's sort of in between where both of us live. It was such a great time. We both really do believe in the secondhand ethos, and so it was just a great outing. Market up north in Wayne Country, I came across something that I can pretty much guarantee is going to become my new obsession. These vintage pincushions. So, found this one, which it's so cute. And it has a tape measure in it and the little original scissors and some of the pins. And it is the cutest little, I don't know, looks like maybe from the 40s, maybe 50s. Made in Japan, just the cutest little thing. Which I love a vintage pincushion. I have a few. But what I kind of discovered I didn't know about before were these little things. They're called half dolls.
And you can get them with legs or without legs, and you can, yes, make a doll with them, but what a lot of people did, made this pincushion. Look at her. Look at her. I'm crazy about her. So crazy that, yes, I want to make my own. So this is my plan pretty soon. I got this gorgeous little flapper girl to make my own pincushion. So that project must be done very soon. I love her. For my sort of day off of thrifting, I did take home the white blouse you saw me try on, which for me is difficult. I've been talking about the fact that I need a plain white blouse for ages, and I never seem to pick one up because I'm always picking up very maximalist things. So I did get this one. Yes, it does have an Austin Powers ruffle bow situation, but it's removable. I probably won't remove it, but it's so practical. Hey, sweetheart. It's Worthington. It is an old school American department store brand. It's going to be really useful. So I'm so glad that I got that. And I didn't quite realize that I kind of made an outfit. I got this fantastic, I want to say late 80s, early 90s Jordana skirt. Look at that little cute little detail. And it is double-sided, so I'm not sure if this is a later edition that someone else put on. It doesn't look like it, but I don't know, but I think it'll go great with that shirt. And it's just kind of a below the knee length, really super cute. And I also did pick up that laundry basket, which is perfect. I have another one almost exactly like it, and I absolutely love it for, obviously, for laundry. It lets air circulate through. It's fantastic. So that's already being used. I did also pick up that light in the bedroom. One more sort of large vanity light, but I'm going to save that one for when the bathroom downstairs is all done, and I can show you it all in one piece. Now at Urban Ore over in Berkeley, we went specifically looking for a big piece of furniture we could use as a bathroom vanity. Completely out of luck, just didn't find anything. So I left this giant used furniture warehouse with a book and a tie. I got this plain old school, looks like maybe 90s, early aughts, white tie because it's got like a paisley print on it. I want to embellish it with beads and sequins and make it into a really fun statement fashion piece, but more of a necklace than a tie. And I got this book, The Needlework Book by Wanda Passadore. It is just a survey of kind of American arts in terms of fiber arts, not really so much quilting, which is great because I'm not a quilter. I don't really want to become a quilter, and a lot of these books really focus on that, but this one focuses on embroidery and needlepoint and that type of thing. So super fun. I think I paid $1 each, so these were really good scores. Was sad I couldn't find that vanity I was looking for though. One of my favorite events that I did this week was something at a place called the Drawing Room in San Francisco. It's sort of a communal arts space. And they set up something called the communal table. It was basically a bunch of scrap art projects where you could come in with your friends, buy a donation glass of wine, look at the art, and make something. There were collages, there was printmaking, there were some little sculpty type of things. My friend and I decided to make collages because we figured that would sort of be the easiest to talk to each other and catch up without having to really focus. Hang on, let me go get it. It is actually on the refrigerator. I made a collage. I haven't made a collage, I don't know, maybe since college. I had such a fun time. We, met the people sitting on either side of us. On one side, it was a father and his daughter. On the other side, it was a group of artists who weren't doing the collage. They brought their own watercolors in, and they were just using the space as a place to create. It was such a wonderful community event, and it also acts as a fundraiser for the space. It was so everything up my alley. I loved that all of the supplies were provided and were secondhand. I loved that people could just show up and engage in it without paying an entrance fee. It really made it accessible to everyone in the community, and it was really showing through that night. And I had such a great time. I made my little Liza Minnelli hippo collage that now is on the refrigerator like I'm a child, and I love it. It made me so happy, not only catching up with a friend, but being creative and engaging with the community, but again, everything being second hand. For the thrifting day with my mom, which I had such a great time, I didn't want to buy too much. But I was looking again for those few decorative items for my house. And also I have a rule that if I go into a secondhand bookshop, especially, you know, a small privately owned one, that I do have a rule. I do need to purchase something because I feel it's unfair to use their spaces as entertainment and not support them. So that said, I got some books. I got a few little bits and bobs for the house. Very cute things, but I didn't go crazy. It was more about spending time with my mom than buying stuff. So let me show you what I did get though. First off, I got this measuring cup. This is a 1 cup measuring cup, and there was a little 1/4 of a cup with it, but it was kind of really damaged to the point where I didn't want to take it home. But now I want the whole set. I don't have room for the whole set, but I love it. It's so cute. So this now sits on my counter. I use it almost every day, and it makes me so happy. And I have some coffee mugs from the same maker at the same period, so it had to come home with me. I almost forgot. I also picked up this lusterware vase. It's shiny, it's a little tacky, it's a little gaudy. Made in Japan, mid-century. There were 2 of them, and there was a little kid running around on a scooter, and he knocked into it, dropped the first one. So I couldn't bring home the pair. However, if he hadn't have done that, I don't know that I would have noticed this one. So, you know, but not only does this fit into the design scheme of my new bathroom, which is going to be very vintage 1950s pink, but it very much reminds me of the Madonna Inn, which holds a very special place in my heart. So is it a little silly? Yes, but I love it. Now for the book haul. Now, some of these were from the secondhand bookshop, and then a couple I actually picked up at Goodwill. So that was great. Pardon me, ma'am. Okay, I found this book, The Perfect Scent, Year Inside the Perfume Industry in Paris and New York. I have a weird obsession with perfumes. So I'm really excited to read this one. I picked up this one. Anyone who's watched a few of my videos will not be surprised by this at all. Love 60s fashion, love Twiggy, love mod style, love just the change that came around in women's fashion at the time. Super excited to dig into this. I think this is one of the Goodwill finds. Yeah, Picturing French Style 300 Years of Art and Fashion, which I'm an art and fashion nerd. It's catnip. And then I also collect my vintage cookbooks. Couldn't pass this one up. It's so cute. Lunches and Brunches, Better Homes and Gardens. I have a bunch from this series. People know that I collect vintage cookbooks, but they know specifically I collect the series too. So as gifts, I've received quite a few of them. I don't know what this is. I won't be making it. But it's fascinating to look at. I do love these books, and I do cook out of them, but some of these recipes are best left in the past. But I thought this was really cute. So I think the biggest win for me this week was, surprisingly, the light shade in my bedroom. It absolutely changed the whole vibe in there. It's a little bit pink soft mood lighting, and I absolutely adore it, and it was so inexpensive and just a happy find at that Building Resources Center. Dog doesn't agree. But that was, I think, yeah, my favorite find. There are still quite a few things that I am looking for in terms of my home renovation and just sort of my daily life. Again, I'm calling this secondhand summer, but honestly, I really do live, for the most part, a secondhand life. So I am still looking for vintage 50s bathroom decor items. I am looking for vintage linens to go in there as well. And I'm always, again, looking for great vintage clothing that's really high quality or things that I can upcycle. I'd love to know, anything I got that you hate or love, let me know. But what all are you looking for this summer? Do you buy secondhand? If so, what are your favorite haunts? Where do you find your gems? I would love some tips of places I might not be thinking of. So that would be great if you would share. And again, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I absolutely love having you here. It is really fun for me to do these. So thank you again for being here. Until I see you next time, stay hunting, stay thrifting, stay second-handing, and I'll see you soon.